Most people think that going no contact is the finish line. But if you notice that after you leave, you actually feel worse. Some people even describe after they go no contact that they literally feel like they're going to die. And it's a phenomenon called aftershock. And I want to talk to you about it today. I'm going to explain why no contact isn't enough to set you free. And I'm going to talk to you about what really does. So, hello, beloved thrivers. I'm Melanie Tonya Evans, if you don't know me yet, and welcome back to Thriver TV, where we heal for real from narcissistic, from the abuse out, from the inside out. Because this isn't just about strategies or learning about narcissists, it's about learning deeply about ourselves so that we can transform ourselves from victim to survivor to thriver, which I'm passionate about. So if you're new here, this is a safe and sacred space. And if you've been with me for a while, please know how grateful I am that you're a part of our beautiful community. And I was talking to people in Shifts Happen that I just came out of, and they said, some of them, that they're at their 10-year anniversary and how much they love our community and our growth and the lives that they're living now. Put thrive on, write thrive on in the comments if you want to live your best life ever after narcissistic abuse, even far in excess of the life you were living before abuse, or even if abuse is all that you've ever known. Please write thrive on, because that's what I passionately stand for. And also too, if you would like some free support and resources, type BOND, BOND, in the comments, and my team will send to you my free 3 trauma bond breaker report, which I know will really help you. Okay, so let's get into the topic of today, because it is really, really important. Why is no contact not the end game? We're going to talk about that today. Absolutely, it's an essential step. No contact or strict modified contact, where you're having to do joint parenting, parallel parenting, or you're having to deal with legal issues, whatever, well then it's modified contact, and usually through other third-party intermediaries, so that you don't have to have direct contact as much as possible. No contact, if you can, is definitely the best step, because it gives you space from the abuse to actually heal. But here's the thing. If you don't actually heal the internal trauma programs that the narcissist activated in you, then even after no contact, you're still going to be haunted by them. And what does that feel like? What does that look like? You're still replaying conversations in your head. You're still going to feel those really intense emotional feelings of heartbreak, abandonment, trying to get accountability, wanting them to be held to account. You're going to be feeling things like guilt, shame, replaying it over and over again, what you could have done differently. Because this is the phenomena of narcissistic abuse. It's not just physical and mental abuse, it's literally spiritual and psychic abuse. And it feels like the narcissist is still living under your skin, not just in your head. It's like you feel them like a black ink through your being, like shards of glass through your veins, and everybody reports the same thing, because they've literally taken up residence inside your nervous system and your subconscious programs. And that's what we have to look at. So the truth that nobody tells you is no contact may stop them from physically appearing in your life. But it's not until you heal the internal trauma that you actually stop the impact of what happened to you. So I want you to think about it like this. The narcissist wounded you, and they keep pouring poison into an open wound, which keeps stinging and hurting when you're with them. So going no contact might stop them pouring the poison into the open wound, but the wound is still there. And until you clean it out and heal it, it's not actually going to get better. And we may not realize that we start pouring the poison into the open wound. Think of it like this. If somebody shoots you, it's got awful impact. But imagine if you kept shooting yourself with the same gun 1,000 times over. And that's exactly what's happening when the trauma still lives on inside of you. Okay, can you relate to that? Let me know if you can relate to that in the chat, because that's exactly what happens. So you're feeling the addictive pulls, you've still got the awful feelings, you're replaying what's happening, and it's obsession, and it can go on indefinitely. And I've actually met people 40 years down the track that are still going through the obsessional feelings. They're just not letting up. Okay, and then we have Aftershock, which is a phenomena in itself. You can look up my name, Melanie Tonya Evans, and Aftershock, because I kind of think I coined the phrase years ago, probably 10 years or more ago. I went through it. The therapist I was seeing didn't realize what it was, and it came to me in an intuitive download. But everybody does go through Aftershock. So what Aftershock is, look it up in my articles and previous YouTube videos I've done about it. But to put it simply, what happens is when you finally get away from the person that's abusing you, the things that happened yesterday, last week, 3 months ago, 5 years ago, all have the space to hit you like a freight train because you're not in survival mode. And when Aftershock comes, not only are you smashed with all of these things erupting up into your consciousness that you never had time to feel, but also too the incredible addiction that you have to a narcissist, which is a peptide addiction, that your body has been wired to accept the peptide downloads from your brain, chemical amino acid chains of things like, and there is one for every emotion, things like betrayal, things like invalidation, things like whatever it is, that negative, your brain has been getting those downloads of those emotional peptides and is literally addicted to them. So if you stop getting betrayal and abuse, your body hangs onto a little bit of that peptide, lets it out into your bloodstream, it triggers your brain, and then your brain starts thinking about the betrayal and the abuse again, and literally will try to force you through cognitive dissonance to go back to the source of the betrayal and the abuse. We are literally physiologically, chemically addicted to that person. Now, as horrible as it is, that addiction is being fulfilled when you're in the relationship, and then when you're out of the relationship, it's not being fulfilled, and your body is screaming for it, literally. And this is why you just cannot get past, I should know better. Why do I want to go back? Why am I ringing them? Why am I doing a drive-by? You know it's going to be terrible, but you can't stop yourself doing it. It's because of the addiction. So this is all part of the aftershock. Now, people in aftershock, it can sit so heavily and so badly that you literally feel like you're dying. And it can be really confused. You think, well, maybe I'm meant to be with them. I miss them so much. I need them so much. It must be true love. It must be a twin flame. I must be, and so on and so on. It's one of the most dangerous times. So this is what happens. People leave, they go no contact, they get the courage to do it. And statistically, it takes something like about 6 or 7 tries to actually stay away. And this is because the inner trauma isn't being healed and you feel worse than ever. So in aftershock, what's happening is your nervous system is collapsing under the weight of the unhealed trauma, because these embedded programs that are unhealed, they are firing off everywhere within you. Okay, so the number one myth that keeps survivors stuck in the trauma long after the narcissist is gone, even if they do hold no contact, is the belief that no contact is enough to heal. And why is this myth so damaging? Because no contact might stop the physical, literal abuse. It absolutely creates space, safety, and breathing room, but it doesn't address the inner wounds that the narcissist has you hooked into. And these are our trauma programs. So the aftershock and the addiction are all connected into our trauma programs that if they're addressed, then the aftershock will dissolve, as well as all the symptoms of narcissistic abuse. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's the truth. And these are our trauma programs of things like unworthiness, fear, abandonment, fear of abandonment, and anxious attachment is a huge one that gets us connected up into narcissistic abuse. If your attachment style is a fearful avoidant because you've had parents and caretakers that betrayed you, well, then your system is wired for betrayal. And until we heal that, well, then all of the aftershock continues. So survivors often think, if I just stay away, I'm going to get better. But you don't. The pain, the obsession, and the triggers can continue even years later because those unhealed wounds are still inside of your body. And that keeps people locked in the rumination, the resentment, and the emptiness. And it really shocks them because they think, why aren't I getting better? I'm a really strong, capable person, which is the profile of most people that get abused by narcissists. Like, I've been able in my life to pick myself up and move on from nearly everything and anything. But why can't I in this instance? Why am I stuck ruminating? Why am I ringing tarot lines and trying to get readings on this person? You know, some people do that as well, and they don't get it. It happened to me too. And I totally understand how bad it feels. You think there is something wrong with you and you think you're going crazy. So the truth is, freedom is not going to come from just avoiding and getting away from the narcissist. It comes from releasing and reprogramming the trauma within. And that's why inner healing methods, not just talk therapy or getting on abuse forums or researching narcissists, that all equals how to lose. It's good to understand what happened to you initially, but then the 90-10 rule. 10% of that, 90% focus on my healing. But we need to heal from within. So things like NARP, my Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, and Quantum Freedom Healing are life-changing because they're actually addressing what's going on inside of you, those internal programs. And they're not just about practical things, although we have so much of that in our community as well, to give you all the support on all the levels that you need. But they're not just saying, okay, well, this is what you need to do to get out and stay out. It's actually about dissolving the hooks, liberating the trauma, freeing you from it internally, bringing you home to your true self, and moving you out of those programs that made you susceptible to narcissists in the first place, and abusive and emotionally unavailable people. So in short, no contact is the doorway, but inner healing is the path to real freedom. Just put truth in the chat if this is resonating with you, and also too, if this is the journey that you've taken, because a lot of the people in our community have. All right, so the biggest mistake of where you go wrong, and I touched on it before, reading more books, listening to endless information, trying to think it through, because information is not transformation. It's just head stuff. Okay, conditions like CPTSD, fibromyalgia, adrenal breakdowns, brain fog, depression, and so many other nasties that come through abuse, these aren't what happened to you. Now you might think, hang on a minute, I really want you to understand, these aren't there because of what happened to you. They are there because of the trauma that wedged into your body as a result of what happened to you. And you need to think of it that way. The internal trapped trauma is responsible for all of it. And you can't change the past. But in the present, you can release the trauma from your body and your nervous system. And our conditions from narcissistic abuse, they're not our fault. We didn't ask for it. But if they're in our body, and they are, then it's our responsibility and it's our job to free ourselves from that trauma, to heal from it and heal our lives. So, what's the hidden trap that keeps you vulnerable and traumatized and broken? This is when survivors believe, I'm safe now because the narcissist is gone. But what does safe mean? If we said safe, well, maybe they can't get at you. But safe is safe to feel free in your body, connected in your body, connected to source, connected to life, and safe to be your authentic self. The true safety is freedom. And that's what we really want. Okay, and we don't have that until we heal the inner traumas that have been carrying all those unhealed wounds that acted like a beacon for more toxic people. So you might think I'm away from them, I'm safe. But this is how life, source, and our inner being work. If we're still carrying those toxic traumas of what happened to us, I promise you this, you keep attracting from the field more toxicity. People who don't agree with you, the wrong solicitor, another narcissist. It all keeps coming at you because that is how quantum law works. So within, so without. So we may think, I get away, now I'm safe, but you're not, because you're still at the same frequency, sending the same signal to the field. And these unresolved programs are things like abandonment, rejection, guilt, shame. I'm not safe to be in my body. I'm not safe to be in life. I feel persecuted. It just keeps it coming. So the quantum truth is what is unhealed inside of us is what life is going to keep reflecting back until we become conscious. And conscious is conscience, and conscience and conscious means that what I'm receiving out there, I have a matching trauma inside of me. And if I go to that and I release it and I recode it, well then when I change, then everything can change, and not until. So this means even if the face changes, we've got the trauma still trapped inside of us, even if the face changes out there of who and what's coming into our life, the pattern doesn't. You're going to see toxicity keep showing up, just in a different disguise. It could be a boss, a friend, the lawyer, the judge, a new partner, which is only going to keep generating more of the same inner pain that hasn't been addressed yet. And it can feel like bad luck, and it can feel like, why does this keep happening to me? I hear it all the time. Why do I keep attracting narcissists? And my answer is always the same, because there's still an unhealed trauma that you haven't taken responsibility for yet, and you haven't healed yet. Are you doing the inner quantum work, or are you just researching? Okay. The good news is that when you turn inward, when you clear these wounds, and it's easy when you've got the right tools and it's really fast, and you can reverse and bring in your true self, that's when the cycle stops. And when you understand quantum and spiritual law, which is where I go to at a much deeper level, you may have been doing the same cycles and patterns for lifetimes, but the buck can stop here. So what happens is when you're on a different frequency and you're in a different self-love and self-worth and deservedness and better boundary function, which all comes organically online from the inner work, well then those people just can't find you anymore. You yin, they yang. Instead, you're going to naturally start attracting healthy, supportive, loving people who match a healed frequency. So the hidden trap, in short, is thinking safety comes from getting away from a particular toxic person. It doesn't. Safety and freedom, which is true safety, comes from the inner work. And I hope that makes sense to you. I really do. Say yes in the chat if you get it. Say yes. Because it's the key to our entire life. When I discovered this key, my entire life went from complete desecration, the tower moment, nothing was left of me or my life, to a complete enlightened awakening and a complete different life. I'm not even that same person when I understood this. Okay, so the real solution, healing has got to happen at the subconscious level, where the hooks, the guilt and the fear and the trauma are actually stored. And that's what happens with quantum freedom healing inside of NARP, inside of my program. We're just not managing the pain. We actually release it at the root, bring in your coded higher self, which is source light codes, which brings in your true self, which means that there's no pain to manage. Not only is there no trauma or pain to manage anymore, you've just stepped on a trajectory of your true self where you have access to things in your life that you never had access to before this happened to you. That's what thriving is truly, truly about. So when thrivers commit to that inner work to this level of cleaning out the narcissist, they are doing it to go free into their true life. Okay, let's do an affirmation together. I want you to do this with me. So what I want you to do is take a breath with me and just place a hand on your heart and repeat after me. And have your heart open as you do and relax your body. I am no longer bound to abuse. I free myself from the hooks and pain. My true self rises. Whole, safe, and powerful. And just let that soak through your body. And give me a love heart in the comments if that feels beautiful. Or share what you feel. And this is a powerful intention that you are setting for yourself. And when you set powerful intentions, the entire universe moves with you to back you and to start granting you the miracle that is already held and waiting for you to become the matching frequency to it, to unlock your true life. So if you're still stuck in pain even after no contact, or if you're struggling to hold it and you keep going back, if you're terrified to do it because you already feel the aftermath that's going to happen, how you're going to feel, what the narcissist may do. If you've done no contact, but you still are not doing no contact in your mind and your body, maybe you're looking at their social media. Maybe you're talking to other people. Maybe you're thinking about them and obsessing constantly, which means energetically you're not doing no contact yet. And I'm not saying that to blame you or to shame you in any shape or form. This, what you're suffering, is so normal. But it's actually not natural. Natural is your true self. Natural is your freedom from this. Natural is living without those traumas wedged in your body that are keeping you matched up to this. Narcissists and narcissistic abuse are not your natural true self. They are simply a match to the unhealed traumas. So if you want help, guidance, and support from myself and an incredible community and incredible quantum super tools to reverse this quickly, powerfully. I actually had an Instagram comment, I think it was yesterday, and it was a woman who said, and I humbly accept this, you're the only person out there who's actually got a solution. And I'm grateful for you every day because this works. And it does. So check out in the comment below the link, comment above, my Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program. It's already helped tens of thousands of people from over 160 different countries break free from their trauma bonds and get their best life, which is exactly what these processes did for me as well. I'm a living, breathing example of it. So check it out and know there's no risk. You've got a full guarantee. You can pay it off monthly. It costs less than 3 therapy sessions. And this is your whole life we're talking about. A true solution. Beautiful. So I want you to remember in closing, no contact is a doorway, but real, true healing happens when you get in contact with the trauma inside of you, when you have a tool to be able to load it up and get it out of your subconscious being and your somatic nervous system, when you're able to release it and go free from it, let it go, and you're able to reprogram yourself with your higher self, your God source creation template blueprint that is self-loving, self-valuing, and whole. The exact opposite to narcissistic abuse. And you emerge as a new self and a new destiny. That's what this work does. So you deserve it. It's possible. And when you start living that kind of freedom and expansion, you will wonder why you never knew about it previously. So anyway, I hope today's explained a lot. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.